Maybe I already hit Jenny. Okay, got it. Somebody's recording. All right.
I hit it.
That's weird. I don't know why it won't let Jenny, are you able to record this? Because it's not giving me a choice on here.
Mine is letting me record.
Okay.
Well, I'm not worried about it. Just I'll get it a different way. Don't worry about it.
I can't
Okay.
get it.
Okay.
It's
We
weird.
can get
Mine
it from
says
one
I'm
of us or
recording,
from
but
my
it doesn't.
YouTube. You
I
can
mean,
get it
it's
from my
record.
YouTube.
It's showing me that it's recording, so I don't know what.
Okay, that's good. Then it is. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna hit record and then we're gonna get going.
I have a small screen and I'm trying to make it larger and I don't know why it's doing that. I might have to come out and go back in. But
You look fine. You look the same as everybody else.
okay.
You look just like everyone else. You look the same size and everything. You look good
Okay.
with
I
your
got a
cute
s-
little hat. I love your cute hats that you wear. My daughter actually got a hat like that from my mother-in-law after she passed away. My daughter inherited like a bunch of stuff from my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law used to wear caps like that all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she got them from France when she went to France on like vacations or whatever. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit record. We're going to get going with our goddess roundtable. All right, we are recording. Welcome back, everybody, to Spiritual Growth Journeys. I'm Kimberly Palm, and I have with me my goddess roundtable of beautiful, wonderful spiritual goddesses today. That same people we had last time, except we're missing our beautiful Kura from Germany. She wasn't able to make it today. Unfortunately, hopefully next time she'll be able to be on with us. But I've got with me the beautiful, amazing Sandra McKellis in the US, and the beautiful, amazing Jenny Lee, and the beautiful and amazing Victoria Reynolds, and the beautiful and amazing Salini, Terry Apodaca, and the beautiful and amazing Gail of Gaia. Thank you all ladies for coming again onto this roundtable. I really appreciate all my sisters. And we are here talking about ascension and very positive, empowering. Our goal, all of us, our goal is to empower you, not take away your power, not give you fear, not scare the pants off of you and make you sick with the C thing that I just got over. We are here to empower you and enlighten you and lift you up and raise your vibration. So hopefully we're all going to be giving you some tips for that today. And we're going to be covering questions that people write into me with and ask about. And the first one that we're going to dive into is the biggest question of all, and it's the one we didn't cover last time, and that is the solar flash. Okay, everybody's talking about the solar flash thing. Now, I was told about the solar flash by Yeshua. He told me this back 4 years ago, I want to say. I didn't even know what it was, never had heard of it before. He told me about it when I wrote Ascension 101. He was telling me all this information. And one of the things is he said this flash was going to hit. And then it explained my vision I had 15 years ago. So 15 years ago, I had a vision that these ETs came and there was this bright light, and every person who was mean, evil, nasty, unloving, rapers, pillagers, killers, murderers, pedophiles, traffickers, just all of them, like all the bad people who are narcissists, people who are just mean, they're just mean, they're just not nice people. They literally disintegrated. They disintegrated. And I saw this 15 years ago. And there was this light, this bright light. And when I felt the light, I felt unconditional love, like it was just love. But anything that wasn't able to meet the vibrational frequency of love literally was obliterated. Okay. So then 4 years ago, when I was told about the flash, it really made sense to me. And then in recent times, I was having a conversation with Kahuna Priestess Kumu over on the big island of Hawaii. She's like the head spiritual leader of all the Kahuna healers over there. And she embodies the goddess. And she's the protector of all the islands. And we got on a conversation back several weeks ago. And she and I compared notes about what we thought the solar flash is and what it's going to be and when it's going to happen. And here's what she told me. She confirmed what I had seen recently, very recently, and that was this gray blue, maybe I saw it as more of a powder blue color mist. There's this flash of light, and then there's this mist. It's almost like the Mists of Avalon, if anybody ever read that book. It's that like almost like a fog kind of a mist, and it goes over the earth, kind of like all of you who've seen the movie The Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston, the part of the movie with the Passover where the angel of death passes over the homes of the Jews and it kills all of the firstborn. That is what I saw. I saw this mist that passes over everything. And if you are in a love frequency, not if you're a Jew, if you're in a love frequency, it passes over you and it surrounds you with love. It surrounds you with love. And what does it do? It turns on your 12, activates you all the way up to 12 strands of DNA, and some people higher, and it will turn you crystalline, and you'll be able to basically look like you're 30, live forever. You know, you can live for like, hundreds of years. You'll never get sick again. You'll never get another virus again. If you do get hurt, you'll self-heal immediately. You won't need a med bed because you'll be your own med bed. That is what I was shown. I was shown this recently in the last couple of years. And I saw it as this blue mist, and it was very loving. It's just like the one I was taken up into a ship in November 22nd, I believe it was, of 2011. Back in 2011, I was taken up into a ship, and I was surrounded by this powdery blue mist that just felt like love. It just felt like unconditional love. And that is what I saw for this solar flash, that this mist happens. Now, what happens to you if you're not vibrating at love and higher, which is you got to be vibrating at 528 hertz. What does that mean? That means you need to be 51% or more service to others. If you're 51% or more service to self, you're not going to be vibrating all the way up in that love frequency. And so what I was shown is everybody who wasn't vibrating in that frequency literally disappears. They're not killed. Okay. So don't get all into fear going, oh my God, Kimberly's saying everybody's going to die. No, that's not what's going to happen. They're going to be separated out because they have what's called the two earth split, which we're going to talk about here as well. Everybody's going to talk about this. But there's a two earth split. Those people will go to the lower vibrational 3D earth. We will be staying here, and we will be healing Mother Gaia and turning it into the new age and the golden age and the heaven on earth, because that is what Yeshua promised me back 3 years ago. He told me, Kimberly, you are not leaving here. You're not going to some other planet. He said, you are going to stay here and be a teacher in New Earth. He said, I am restoring heaven back to earth. That is what he told me 3 years ago. He said, I'm restoring heaven back to earth. He said, the people who are not ready to learn and grow and stay and ascend will be shipped off to another third density planet. Okay, so they will disappear from this realm, is what I saw. That's what I saw. They will go there. So Kumu and I were on the phone, and we're talking, and we're sharing our stories. She saw exactly the same thing. And she told me, Kimberly, 100 ancestors just showed up in my house the other day. And she said, that never happens. She said, usually a few of them will show up. She said, it was like there was 100 of them. The whole house was full of the ancestors. She said they told her she had 2 weeks to get ready for something. And she didn't know what it was, but she felt very strongly that this thing was going to hit us by the end of this summer. She felt very, very strongly about it. And I feel like it's coming very soon. Ishmael Perez has said that it's going to hit by, first he said 2024. And then in another video, I heard him say 2028. I really feel it's going to be hitting within the next 2 years for sure. I feel very strongly about that. So what do I know about the solar flash? I know that it comes from the central sun. I know that it affects not only our planet, but all of the different planets and sentient beings in our galaxy. The Pleiadians, the Lyrans, all those beings are all going to get upgraded. Everybody gets upgraded. It's not just us. What happens here now affects all the beings in the universe. Everybody's getting upgraded. That is what I know. What do I know? I know that it is unconditional love. I know that it is positive. It is not destructive unless you're evil. If you're evil, it might be destructive for you. But if you're a good sentient being, if you're a loving person, it's not. It's going to up level you to the next level of human 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0. We're going to be like the Eternals, the Marvel movie, The Eternals. You're going to remember who you were again. You're going to have back, your memories of who you were before you came. You're going to have superpowers. You're going to have telepathy. You're going to have telekinesis. That's how they built the pyramids. They built the pyramids using telekinesis with their mind, moving objects back then, because when the Anunnaki were here, they were able to use their mind to move objects. So we're going to have superpowers. We're going to be like gods and goddesses, basically. And Yeshua told us, you will do greater things than I. Why do you think he would tell everybody, you will do greater things than I? He was walking on water. He was healing people. He was raising people to the dead. And he's telling us we will do greater things than that. Do you think he was telling it to us for the fun of it? No, because he was trying to help people ascend back 2,000 years ago. And now we're actually going through the real deal now, right now. And so that is what I know about the solar flash. So I want to go around our little roundtable room and ask each of you, what do you know about this thing? What have you seen? What have you heard? What do you feel? And when do you think it might hit us? So I'm actually going to start with Saloni.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honored. Good, because I can't really stay very long. As you know, it's been a rough couple of days and I'm super busy.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to leave the country. So thanks for that intro. Yeah, I know a lot about this what's so-called solar flash. It's actually a divine flash. And I beg to differ slightly, maybe I'm wrong, but it's coming from the cosmic mother of the universe. So it's love energy, it's pure love energy that has arrived at a certain state of consciousness, that it's high enough, and that we have met that state of consciousness here on earth, so that we are ready to receive that flash. And that's going to be a pure love infusion. Once we are allowed to have that pure love infusion, everything heals here. But there's been all these barriers and blockages. So I've always known that something was coming. I was an awakened child. I mean, I didn't know the terminology. I just knew that things were really spiritual. Fortunately, my mother nurtured that, and she also knew something was coming. But it was when I met the Holy Mother Amachi that I got clear information about the divine flash or solar flash, whatever you want to call it. So I am a devotee of the Holy Mother Mata Amritanandayi, who is known as the Hugging Saint. And she travels the world and is an incarnation of the Divine Mother. So she started telling us about 20 years ago. I see her once or twice a year. Not now, we can't see her during COVID, but she told us that this was coming. She didn't say COVID. She said there's going to be a time when you won't be able to travel. There's going to be a great darkness on the planet. And she said, you'll know about this time because you won't be able to tell the difference between men and women, and there's going to be a movement, about men and women. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable who's listening to this. And she also said that it would be unsafe to have children, and there'd be a time when people shouldn't be having children, which we absolutely know about that, don't we? Because of the jabs. And she said, and when you see that time coming, you'll know that soon afterwards will be the divine flash. And she said to us, and she's been telling us this for 20 years until I couldn't see her in 2020 because of COVID, but I've seen her every year since I first found her in 1996. And I've probably been to about 10 retreats with her. I've spent a week or two at a time with her every time. And so I'm very intimate with how advanced spiritually she is, and she doesn't eat or drink or sleep or anything, she's constantly attuning and blessing people. And so she started telling us in 2002, I think it was, about the divine flash. And she said, when it comes, it's going to be pretty much like you described. It's going to be a flash on the earth. And she said, it's going to wipe away all the dark ones. And she said, and they will never, ever, ever be here again.
Mhm.
And she said the hole in the bottom of the earth where they're coming through to get in here will be sealed permanently by the ascended ones. And she said this planet will be permanently healed and permanently ascended, and you will see it in your lifetime.
Yay.
And so she said that it would be sometime between January 2020 and 2023. So she thinks she actually said she thought it could be on December 21st, 2022. And she said, I can't say the exact date. And the reason why, and she didn't even say this, but I mean, when you study higher level spiritual principles, you understand that we're creating the future. So as our billions of thoughts are coming together, the next day is formed. So if you have 5 billion people doing negative thoughts and only 1 billion people doing positive thoughts, there's this creation. We are creating as we go, every hour, every second, every day. And so the more of us that are focused on creating this new world, the age of Aquarius, the quicker it's going to come. Now it's going to come. We've already defeated the worst of the dark ones. The question is it going to be this year, next year, the year after? Depends on how many people wake up, how quickly they wake up, how much they're focusing on creating this new world and just let the matrix die, everybody. You just let it go. You don't need to try to rescue it or it's supposed to die off. It's uncomfortable, but let it go. And so we're kind of moving into the unknown. So it's scary for everybody. We don't know exactly how it's going to look, but as you trust and have faith in the Holy Spirit or God or Allah or whatever you want to call it, you will be moved into your correct path and this thing will happen and boom, just like you said. I mean, I heard Ismail say it, but I've been saying, well, it's a little bit frustrating because I started talking about this right around 1990. I said exactly everything that Ismail said 30 years ago. And I said, this flash is coming. I saw it. I saw the whole thing. And I guess you have to be a guy. I don't know. Maybe you have to talk a certain way. You got to be a man and you got to sound like a scientist rather than us trippy divine mothers.
Us hippie ladies.
Yeah,
Us hippie
I
ladies.
guess I'm just a flaky new ager. That's
Yeah.
what they say. The reality is, I mean, I have seen it and Amachi verified it. And, whether I'm a man or a woman or a robot or a purple people eater, I can see it. I can see it coming. And it feels to me like it's closer than 2024. I heard Ismail say it too. Doesn't it feel like it's really
Yes.
close, everybody?
Yes.
I
It
feel
feels
like
really
it's coming
close to
very
me.
soon. I really
Yes.
do.
Like
I do
maybe
too.
this year.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
because everything's peaking and getting horrible, more increasingly horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can't, and the Holy Spirit won't allow that, will not allow the planet to be nuked and destroyed. They will not allow us all to be destroyed. We're going to be, when it reaches the worst point is when we're going to be saved, or whatever you want to call it. I heard
Yeah.
Ismail say we're going to go up in ships. I've heard others say that. In fact, I think Jenny said it. I'm not sure. Was it Jenny? But I don't know. Maybe we're going to go up in ships, supposedly the Mayans ascended and they're helping us from the other side, or they're helping us
Right.
from a higher dimension.
Yeah.
So I do think that this divine flash is about love, unconditional love and higher consciousness. I do think it's coming very soon. And I think that we will see the split
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden they will disappear from us and we will disappear from them. And that's the timeline split and they will go down into this 3-dimensional timeline somewhere else. There is a second planet that's ascending next. That's the planet Orion is about to ascend as well. They're next in line after us. So once we ascend, then they're going to have to go through these lessons, much more enslavement and bondage, but we won't be in that. We won't have to, our bodies will be liberated, our minds, our spirits, everything will be liberated. So that's the way I see it happening. And I think it's soon. I really do.
Wow. Gail of
Hi.
Gaia, what do you think about all this? I mean, you interview a lot of people on your channel who talk about this thing. So what have you gleaned off of all that? And then what do you sense and feel yourself?
I sense that it's very soon. Like I think it could be this year. That's just what I'm sensing.
Uh-huh.
And maybe not even that far away. there's not much that I can add that hasn't already been said as far as the flash itself goes. I'm really looking forward to it.
Right? I know, I
And
can't wait.
come on.
I'm like, bring it now,
Bring,
right
bring it,
now.
yeah.
I
Bring
just
it on,
want
bring it
it.
on. I'm ready. I'm ready. I was born ready a long time ago. But anyway, it's a wonderful thing. And I haven't heard it described as the love frequency, as Selena just said. And that is so cool. And it's beautiful. And I can see there are others that have said that this planet we're going to be removed from this planet.
That's not true. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
believe that.
So that's one of the things that I've, encountered with people talking about this. They're going to be turned to crispy critters is what
Yeah.
what some other people have said. Just because I have somebody on my show doesn't necessarily mean that I buy into everything that's said. And I got a very important disclaimer on my shows in the description of the video. But I also am a big believer in a free speech platform. And so, people may have other opinions about how they perceive things are going to happen than what I may think or what have you. But anyway, what I've heard thus far is very much in line with what I think and feel as well. And so I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'm ready. And so and I do think it's soon. But other than that, I don't have too much more to add to what's already been said. I haven't heard the blue fog or the blue mist thing either, but that's kind of cool. And
Yeah, that's what I was shown. That's what Kumu was shown. The two of us were both shown that. And the crispy critter thing, actually, a very dear friend of mine told me back 3 years ago when I told her about this flash is going to hit. She said, you better pray that it never, ever hits. And I'm like, why? And she said, if that thing hits Earth, everybody will be turned, the whole Earth
Crispy
will
critter.
literally be crispy critter. The whole Earth will be incinerated. And I didn't believe that. I just don't
Yeah.
believe it because it's not what I've been shown. I've been shown that this is an up leveling of everything. Everything's going to be improved, not
Exactly.
killed.
That's exactly what I picked
So,
up all
yeah.
along too, is that things are going to be cleaned up, fixed up, and it won't even take very long at all.
Yeah.
Like within 3 days, I could almost have the entire planet cleaned up.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ship thing, as far as going up in ships. So, I asked my boss, Yeshua, I'm like, because I was freaking out. I'm like, am I leaving Earth? I don't want to leave Earth. I came here because I have this love affair with Mother Gaia. I love this Earth so much. Like part of why I continue to stay on planet Earth is because I live in the nature wilderness, for heaven's sakes. I'm surrounded by billions of pine trees and waterfalls and rivers and lakes. And it's just gorgeous. This planet is a paradise. And I don't know if you all know, this planet was a vacation spot for ETs from all over the universe for a long time until the Draco took it over and locked us down and put us into, what do they call it? What's the term for it? We got put into a lockdown basically, but until they came here and they did that to us, this was a vacation spot for beings from all over because it's one of the most beautiful planets in space. And so the thought of the most beautiful place in space being obliterated, I don't buy that. I'm not going to buy that. And when I asked the boss, he said, no, Kimberly, you're staying on Earth. You're not going anywhere. He said, you're going to be turning it into a paradise. It's going to be heaven. In fact, he called it Shambhala. And at the time, I didn't know what the word Shambhala meant. I was actually laying in bed having this conversation with him. And he said, I'm going to resurrect a new Shambhala. That's what he said. That was his words. He said, I'm resurrecting a new Shambhala. And I'm like, what the heck is a Shambhala? So then I had to research. Do you know what the word Shambhala means? Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. When you Google Shambhala, it means heaven on earth. And so he was telling me he's restoring heaven to earth. And he told me I'm not leaving here. So my idea of this thing with the ships is maybe the ships are taking up all those souls that are being obliterated out of here because they're too evil to behold. Or the other possibility is we are going to temporarily be sucked up into a ship because they're going to terraform the planet back to its natural state. That is a possibility. So I don't have the answers. I don't have, I have some answers, I don't have tons of answers and I don't have all the answers. I just have some answers.
Well,
Right.
But
can I just add that
Yeah.
the human has evolved to the point where it's ready to ascend.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be created to be the most perfect beings in the universe. It's a grand experiment by our creator. And so we have all the genetic and DNA and soul tools and pieces to be able to ascend to higher consciousness. And so that's why being here is such a gift at this time, because you have this rapid opportunity for rapid ascension and move into an ascended physical state. And that is a high state that Jesus was demonstrating for
Right.
us. And that a lot of people didn't understand. You know, people get very attached to their physical bodies. They get
Yeah.
attached to their desires. And when you're intimately inside of a spiritual body as a soul, you become, attached to certain desires, food, sex, whatever it is. But those things need to all be surrendered in the end, because you're actually surrendering your flesh body when you ascend. It's not going to be a flesh body, it's a light body. You probably don't even eat anymore. I mean, I hardly eat anything anymore as I'm making my light body. So we're creating a light body to be able to travel into other dimensions.
Mhm.
And we are perfect enough for that now. We're consciousness is high enough for that now, but not everybody is. So the more of us that can get to that consciousness, the quicker we're going to have this flash thing happen. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And so Victoria, I'm going to call on you next, and then we're going to go to Sandra and then Jenny, because Jenny always likes to go last because then she gives her whole synopsis on the situation because she gets technical. So Victoria, I mean, you and I have been chatting about this whole ascension now since I've known you. I mean, that's all we talk about. So what do you know about this flash and what do you feel is going to happen?
Well, I started hearing about this from my team back in 2015. It has come in waves of information. So in 2015, I started being shown these, what we were calling G waves. They were called G waves, God, goddess waves. And so I tuned in with my team. That was actually the first message I received from Saint Germain. And he explained to me what these G waves were. They're light waves. And he said, these light waves are coming in from a singularity. And it was shown like a pulsar. And I didn't know what a pulsar was either. I actually had to look it up because I'm not sciencey. I don't have the scientific explanation for it. I have the spiritual explanation. So I was being shown these G waves that were coming in, and they were coming from what he called a singularity. And I was talking to some friends of mine who were getting the same message about these G waves coming in. And we were calling them goddess waves. Again, Saloni, yes, so we're calling them goddess waves, and they are light. They're the light of source coming through to the planet. And what I was being shown is that these light waves are changing our DNA. They're actually restoring what I call the divine human blueprint. So human beings were created as the most advanced beings in the universe. All of these different aspects of different beings that were created before human beings were gathered up and put into we're basically the youngest species, put it that way. Into this new young species was this perfection of everything that had gone before us. So this divine human blueprint, human beings, I sometimes get teary-eyed over it because human beings are such spectacular creatures and they have no idea how
I
amazing
agree.
they are,
Yeah.
that they can create simply by thought. And that the thought is so powerful, we can move mountains literally if we really understood what we were capable of. So these G waves are coming in and they're reactivating our divine human blueprint. So the junk DNA, as science calls it, is being reactivated. It's not junk DNA, it's just dormant DNA. So the dormant DNA is being reactivated. That's why so many people have become psychic and telepathic and all of that over the last, 10 years. Because those gifts, it isn't that some people are more gifted than others. It's just that those gifts are being reactivated that actually exists within every single one of us. These
Yes,
light waves are activating that.
yes.
So I started getting that guidance back in 2015.
Mhm.
What I was shown is that those waves would become more and more and more, more often and stronger over the coming years. So then
Mhm.
what was shown about 5 years ago, maybe somewhere in there. Time has moved so fast, it's hard to keep track of time. I remember 2015 because I actually wrote it in a notebook. That's why I know when that message came in. So what I was shown a couple of years ago is
Mm.
those who cannot raise their vibration to light speed will be left behind. And so it's those who are raising their frequency up enough to be able to absorb these light waves that are coming in. The other thing I wanted to share with you, and when I asked about light speed, what I was shown is that those who are at least 51% loving will be fine.
Yep.
And that then the other thing I wanted to share with all of you is there was a movie in 2019, and this keeps coming back over and over and over again when I tune in and ask what the Flash looks like. There was a movie in 2019 that was titled Yesterday.
Hmm.
I love that movie.
I don't know that movie.
It's a sweet movie. And I watched it again a couple of days ago, and because my team keeps saying that movie yesterday shows you what's going to happen. Even the film industry is trying to say this is what's going to happen. So the guidance that I've gotten is there's going to be this solar flash, and people have asked me, well, what about the people that leave? You know, what about their families? And they're going to miss them. And the guidance that I got is that when this flash happens, they will actually be forgotten about. We won't even remember they existed.
Oh, wow.
It's not like we're going to be cleaning up millions of dead bodies. That was one of the things when I was a kid and I was told about the ascension and all the death. And I was like, well, who's going to be cleaning up the zombies coming up out of the ground and the resurrection and the billions of people that would die and animals dead everywhere, and who's going to be cleaning it up? And so when I was a kid, I was told, well, they're going to get lifted up in spaceships and the angels are going to clean up the earth and then it will bring you back down. So remember, I grew up in a very extremely fundamentalist end of the world doomsday religion. And of course, only 144,000 of us were going to survive, and the other entire rest of the planet was going to be destroyed. So I don't do the whole spaceship thing. What I've been shown is that we are creating two different realities on the same planet.
Mhm.
We've been experiencing that already. How many of us are existing in a completely different reality than our friends and family and neighbors? That we see things completely different than they do. That's how it looks right now. So both realities are coexisting on the planet right now at the same time. What my understanding is that those two realities will separate off. All of those that go to this other, that separate off into this third dimensional reality and continue playing that out, what I was shown is that we will basically forget they even existed. This solar
Wow.
includes, because it's a complete timeline split, right? They won't even exist on the same timeline. They won't. So if you watch that movie, you'll see that's what happens, that there are some things that just nobody even knows, remembers existed. So my understanding is that we won't even remember they exist except for some of us.
Mhm.
So those who are remaining but are not spiritually awake yet, because remember that awake and aware of the corruption is different than being spiritually awake. So
Mhm.
those who are spiritually awake will remember and be able to teach the rest of humanity how to move through that process. But a lot of those, the lower vibration ones who are high vibration enough to stay, won't remember a lot of these people that are just going to disappear.
Mhm.
Because the trauma would be way too much for the human heart to be able to handle. If suddenly a third of the population was dead and there were dead people everywhere, the human heart is delicate. It wouldn't be able to handle that much drama, and would actually suck us back down in vibration.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
It would be
Well,
horrible. And
Victoria, do you
the team
think
of
that
light
we're,
will not allow us to be terrorized by this.
you don't think we're going to see people die from the vaccine?
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's already happening, right?
Yeah, that's
It's already
already
happening.
happening.
In
But
mass,
but
in
it's not
mass.
we're not gonna see the third of the world's population suddenly drop dead. A lot of these people are just going to disappear.
Mm.
And so it's really interesting, as I saw this movie again a couple of days ago, and I didn't catch this before. But there was one little scene in the movie where she holds up the newspaper and it says solar flash caused it was 12 minutes of darkness. The entire planet went dark for 12 minutes. When the lights turned back on, we were in a different timeline. And it was caused by a solar flash.
So is that on Netflix or is it on Prime or where is it? I want to watch it.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Prime. I don't remember. It's in Prime.
Wow.
It's everywhere. It's from 2019. So it's pretty easy to find.
You guys, when we're talking, make sure you're careful with the words, like the V word. You can say, I like to do this because I don't want to get my channel flagged.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
we
don't
got
want to
caught
get
in
my
that, yeah.
channel flagged or my video shut down or removed or something like that. Cause I mean, YouTube is Nazi Germany basically, and that's what they're doing. So we have to be careful what we say on here. I
Right.
use code language all the time on my channel so that I don't get shut down. I mean, they're already blackballing me by not telling my subscribers. They're not notifying any of my subscribers when I have new videos come out, and they're minimizing how many likes I have and comments and all kinds of stuff. They're already,
They do
screwing
the
with
same
me.
thing to me.
You can
Yeah.
cut that out if you
Definitely.
need to, the.
Yeah, I know I can edit it out of mine. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
don't know
my
how
understanding,
to
yes,
do
Melanie,
that.
thank you for bringing that up. And yes, people are dropping
Mhm.
all over the place presently.
Yeah,
Um,
lots of them.
the guidance I got a couple of days ago is that a lot of the people who are going to be leaving are, their hearts can't handle the solar flash. Because one, we're moving into a heart-based reality, a love-based reality.
Mhm.
So if we have people whose hearts have been compromised by, right? And or they're not able to raise their vibration up to love, they will be left behind. So some will be transitioning out through the solar flash because of solar flash, their hearts just won't be able to take that. It's the electromagnetic energy that comes forward, which is the energy of the heart.
Wow.
That's part of the guidance I got about a week ago. Now, leading up to that, because these solar flashes started years ago and they're
Yeah.
increasing in speed and increasing in
Mhm.
and increasing in vibration.
Mhm.
I see a lot of people transition out with heart issues before the solar flash, before the big one,
Mhm.
because their bodies won't be able to handle the light that's coming in.
Right. Wow. Wow. Well, my very best friend on the planet, who I've been friends with since I was 14, she's already had a heart attack. But she is here as a light worker, and she is one of the most beautiful, kindest, loving, compassionate people I know. So I believe she's going to be just fine.
Well, okay, and also here's one thing to understand. There are also a lot of incredibly loving, beautiful light workers that are leaving the planet right now.
Yeah, I noticed actually I've had several clients leave recently. And that really horrified me. I recently had a client leave, and there's no reason on her obituary for why how she went. And so I feel like maybe she either went from the poke, she either went from that, and that's why they didn't post it in her obituary, or she committed suicide because she was so depressed over the fact that her family was just against her all the time. And
Yeah,
she didn't.
there are a lot of
You
people
have
who are
to
leaving the
go.
planet.
Just gonna say goodbye.
Oh, bye, Selene. Thanks for joining
Selene.
us today.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Sorry. I
you.
just have
Thank
to
you,
get ready to
Selene.
Bye,
go.
Selene.
We'll be in touch.
Have a good day.
Take care, goddesses.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Gas, okay? All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, I'm glad we were able to have her on at least temporarily. So that's good. I'd rather have you guys for a short time than not at all. So, but yeah, I think whatever happens, it's going to be positive. It's only going to be negative if you're a nasty person. That's what I tell people, because I have a lot of clients that are terrified of this whole thing. They're literally terrified of this event because they think that their family is all going to disappear. And I'm like, well, is your husband a nice guy? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, is he a loving, decent person? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, he'll just wake up and he'll go to the next level, and then you'll be teaching him and helping him along. He's not going to disappear. If he's service to self, yeah, he'll disappear. Is he a pedophile? Yeah, he'll disappear. Is he a drug dealer? He'll disappear. If he's a nice person, he's not going to disappear. Nothing's going to happen to him. So, because people are freaked out, they all think they're going to lose their families and all kinds of terrible things are going to happen. That's not the way this is going to be at all. Not at all. That's what I think. So Sandra McKellis, what do you think about all this stuff? What is your knowledge and feelings on all of it?
Well, if I look at it as a one big time main event, then I miss what's happening on my daily road. And so with that being said, if I'm not staying fully present and allowing the energies to come in and develop my intuitive side of communication with myself, my higher self, my guide team, then I'm missing it. I'm not just going to show up for the encore, so to speak. And for me personally, when I began to really develop my sight, I could see the smoke, and I still do. I see it. It comes in real heavy, and it's bluish gray and white, different colors. And as far as the flash goes, I hear a lot of things about it, but my guides always have me on an NTK, need to know basis. So because if not, I'm literally fishing in the middle of the ocean thinking, I'm going to catch something, when I need to just be paying attention. So when you were talking about the Shambhala thing, it reminded me of the Three Dog Night song, On the Road to Shambhala. And on that, it says, I will recognize my sisters by the flowers in their eyes. I will recognize my brothers by the flowers in their eyes. They'll wash away your sins, your troubles, all that stuff, And we're on this road. We're on this road to Shambhala, this heaven on earth. But we're going to miss a lot of it if we just keep sticking to, I'm waiting for the big thing to happen, because it's the little things on the road that really count. So right now, the energies are coming in periodically very, very strong. And if you pay attention to it physically, it's like a pulsating. It's a pulsating. And then when I see it, it's like this powerful rain that's coming down. So then I recognize, we're going through some kind of transformation today, more upgrades. We're all being upgraded little by little by little by little. And some can accept more, some need to just stay steady, but don't freeze and resist it. So on days like that, I'll try to sit outside a little bit, open my eyes, close my eyes, see what I'm seeing, feel what I'm feeling, so that I can pay attention no matter where I am, no matter what chaos is going on, because I know I'm here to be a bridge. I'm here to
Yes.
be able to, while the chaos is happening, be able to say, hey, you've got this. You've got this. Just slow your roll a little bit. As far as, the world splitting, the timeline splitting, we're in and out of timelines a lot, depending on where you are in your own elevation of things. And many of us are getting out of the muck of the 3D. I've had a lot of clients who've been living in this, got to do 10 and 2, make the money. This is what I live for every day, to I'm going to work on elevating into the heart center, letting the money just flow. So as far as all this other stuff, again, need to know basis. I can't really comment on it, but I love hearing all the information that everybody is sharing, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Awesome. And, thanks for what you just said, because that is the most important thing, is the mindfulness of being in the present moment every day, staying present and really focusing on the now. And I really learned that when I got my ass kicked with the C bioweapon that I got for 2 weeks. It put me on my ass, and I had to cancel all my clients, all my classes, everything for a 2-week period, and just sit and meditate in my bedroom. And it really taught me that I need to literally I need to be staying in the now pretty much every day, instead of worrying what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen, because I realize, because I'm not perfect, I'm a human. Okay. I make mistakes. And I realize I've been worrying about the future too much this last few years. Like the last 3 years, I've been too much worrying about, when's this going to happen? When's that going to happen? Like, when is the pokey thing going to be completely taken down and stopped? And, those kind of things. And then what the virus thing taught me, being sick for 2 weeks, is it taught me that I need to literally be in the moment. I need to spend each day connecting with source, taking care of myself, making, being happy, doing things that create joy and happiness every day. And really, really focusing in on now, and not think about when's this going to happen and when's that going to happen and that kind of thing. I need to be kind of prepared in a way that something may happen, but I shouldn't be focusing on it. It's not, you know what I mean? You need in the back of your mind to know, okay, well, at some point I may need some water because I won't be able to get water, or I may need backup batteries. It's kind of like if you live somewhere where there's a lot of hurricanes, you're not going to sit there and think, oh my God, there might be a hurricane tomorrow. You're not going to focus on that every day, but in the back of your mind, you need to know that you have to have blankets and water and some food and stuff in case there's a hurricane that hits, because you're in an area that gets hurricanes. So you can be prepared, but you don't need to be constantly focusing on the future event all the time. So
True.
so I'm trying to get out of this place of, oh my God, when's the solar flash going to hit already? And get to a point of just be in the moment now. What is happening around me right now? How can I maximize the joy and the happiness right now in this moment? Not when's this, when's that, oh my gosh, that kind of thing. And getting put on my butt for 2 weeks really was a big wake up for me. It was one of the because I actually asked my team, my guidance team, why did you guys let me get this? 3 years have gone by and this is the first time I'm coming down with it. Why is this happening? And the answer that I got was because I needed to be put on my butt and I needed to spend time listening instead of thinking and talking, because all I do every day is do videos, do counseling sessions, teach classes, deal with my family. And I'm just
No time
talking
for
all the
yourself.
Yeah, no time for myself, but no time to just sit and connect to source.
Yeah.
To sit and connect to source. Yeah.
Oh, well, you got to reboot. So when we're really busy doing all these other things that are exterior to us,
Mhm.
and we need to do interior work, you may just get the legal excuse of just being sick. So that is your excuse for no incoming calls, no outgoing calls. But I just want to say something. When we're so busy projecting out on a main event, we're forgetting all the supplies that we really need to just start collecting. You don't know what they are if you don't stay in the present moment and be in that, because you might collect one thing, Jenny might collect another thing, you ladies down here might collect another, and I might get a message, I need to bring this into my tool bag. So we do need to stay in the present moment, and we don't have to get sick to do it if we're really truly listening. But also it's a reboot of the entire system. I don't look at it as getting sick. I look at
Yeah.
it as the whole system is just getting a reboot, and it requires quiet time.
Yep. And purging. I was doing a lot of
Yes.
purging of stuff. I was
Of course.
purging old emotional garbage. I was purging so much over I was locked in my bedroom because I have a child who has autoimmune disorder and other issues, and I couldn't expose her to this. And so I had to literally lock myself away from my family for 2 weeks, and they were literally serving me food in hazmat suits through the door. They were really freaked out. They didn't want it. And so it really, really made me sit and listen. And then I call Kumu, who is, the Hawaiian priestess, and I'm like, I don't understand this. And she said, Kimberly, the ancestors want you to know that you need to shut up and you need to just sit and listen, because you're going to receive codes. You're going to receive healing codes. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to get healing codes, right? Guess what? She wasn't kidding. I got downloaded all kinds of stuff that I'm going to be sharing in videos, and I've already been sharing on Facebook. I got this infinity sign prayer that was given to me to give to everybody. I already put that up on my Facebook page. I got all kinds of downloads, and I was bitching and complaining before I came down with this illness. I was bitching and complaining about how I hadn't gotten any downloads in forever. Okay. And it's because I was too busy yak, and do, and not spending enough downtime just listening. That's why I wasn't getting the downloads. And so I had 2 weeks that forced me to shut up and receive downloads. So I got all kinds of downloads. I got tons of downloads, and the downloads are for all of you. It's for all of you ladies that are on here with me. It's for all of humanity. The stuff that I got wasn't for me personally. It was for me and for everybody that I'm supposed to give to the world. And so one of the things I already posted on Facebook, and then I'm going to be doing a video on on a whole new healing modality thing that was given to me. And then the other thing that was given to me is I'm creating a new class now on spiritual retirement. It's a retirement course on what do you do when you retire? And I'm trying to talk one of my best friends. I have 3 best friends, and one of them is Guy, and he was a financial planner for many, 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 many years. And I'm trying to talk him into doing this class with me so that he can present the money aspect of the retirement. And I'm going to be presenting the spiritual aspect of what happens to you when you retire, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. What do you need to do to find your purpose? All that stuff. So that was one of the things that I started working on because I was flat on my butt, hiding in my room and cloistering myself for 2 weeks. So there's a reason for everything. That's all I have to say. Everything happens for a reason. And that was the positive reason for me of why I had to go through that whole thing, because I got all this great stuff. So, moving along. So Sandra, do you have anything else to say about the Flash as far as what you know or what you think, or do you have anything else?
No, again, I'm on that NTK, the need to know, and I
Okay.
know that I'm not going to be TNO. I'm not going to have a knockout,
Yeah.
so I'm good. I'm where I need to be.
Yeah.
Everyone will be where they need to be if you pay attention.
Yep. Absolutely. So now I've saved best for last, and I say it's the best for last is because Jenny is like the most awesome brainiac, smart, analytical gal I know. I mean, she's just amazing. So Jenny, I'm going to let you have at this. What have you, because you always have drawings too, so you see things and then you actually draw them. I don't have art skills. So when I see visions, I can't draw them, but you do. So what do you got for us?
So 5 years ago, remember I kind of talked to you guys about there are 3 levels of humans. Now it's hard to people understand that lower level is not ascending. They told me they were never planted here to make it. Okay. And that's hard for people to understand, but they're not going. Okay. So you got that lower level, you got the mid-level, high intelligence, starting their track, doing their development, and then you have the high ascended masters that's already there. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to explain this in a different way. And they're telling me 35% of this earth, what's on this earth, are not humans. They're not. They're organic drones, organic clones. And what's going to happen is this gets done in layers. So I know that they are taking some of those lower frequencies off the planet already. Okay. When you have to pay attention is you're not seeing people the way you used to see, and it's going to slowly descend off the planet. 35% are not what you think they are. And that sight of seeing that happen in the streets, and they say New York's your first one, you're going to see the witness of it, of these clones and organic clones, drones, whatever, they're going to fall to the ground. That server, that master server was not going to be there. Okay. Once that's not there, then they're coming in with these, I call them dump trucks to shovel them all up. And yeah, the ones that are left are human are going to be in shock. But you got to understand, they always had this information to access and get into it. We're at a time, it's not where you have to feel sorry for them because they're not getting it. It's the point that we're past that, because Spirit gave you the path to be paying attention every day to the information that you need. And if you're not, there's just not that excuse anymore. It's just like someone giving you the shot, the nurse knows what's in it and says, well, I didn't know. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, so we get down to 35% being off the planet, and they're moving all those. Okay. And then you're going to look at the percentage of what's going to be left of humans. Okay. So there's a pause there of, okay, we're accepting this. We're seeing it. We're understanding it. And all the negative, before that solar flash, will not be able to breathe in this. Okay. So I'll explain that solar flash. Everything of our history is in the ground. And as we speak right now, they are digging everything up and getting it off this planet. They have to remove it all. It has to go to a place that is safe for some of those devices, period, across the board. So once those devices are removed and everything, there's another layer that's coming. Okay, what's the next layer that's going to happen? So 6 months ago, I talked about the last war would be in the Holy Land. And that there will be a fog coming down to earth, just like a storm that comes over. A calmness of this fog will hit the earth. It'll let you know that it's done. Everything's done. The calmness, like the earth cleanses itself. But before that happens, the last war is in the Holy Land, because they have to bring some stuff to the surface, and the rivers will turn red for the witness of what happened. At some point, we have to really understand the witness of what happened on this planet. We can't just cater to everybody and not acknowledge that, because that's information we needed to know, so this does never happen again. So when we get to that point, those delicate creatures underground, some of the creatures that need to be removed under the ground under the Holy Land, that last war that's there in a different way, when that's done and over with, then this calmness will take over. When that happens, that solar flare is like a new coating of an energy of an element burst. Okay? So you're not going to have these people desecrated, because they're going to be gone already. They're going to be gone already. And to allow that energy, and you're not going to be in a component of the flesh body. The flesh body is a 3D density. We are not taking that flesh body with us where we're going. But I will tell you that I do know, channeling the information, they told me that this planet has to go into a hibernation stage. Man has done so much damage, it has to rekindle itself. And there are special beings that will be here to rejuvenate that energy. So when that flash happens, it's not a big deal, because the ones that weren't going to be able to adapt to it are going to be gone already. This whole thing is not a hard concept. It's very easy, very gentle, very natural with your soul. So, and I think that community, you got the negative light workers and all the UFOs, and they try to, push this in your face and make it a negative thing. And it's not. I mean, if you put your mind into it and say, this is not going to be negative. This is not a negative process. It's just a part of coating our earth in a different energy element that will stay for a while and rekindle our energy and adapt into energy, and our animals will be able to adapt to it and rejuvenate the planet. It's about rejuvenating the planet.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I saw. I actually saw the planet going to like basically paradise, like Garden of Eden, which is what it used to be. The whole earth used to be the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden, they've told us all these lies, and one of them is that there's this place called the Garden of Eden. The entire earth back during the time of Atlantis 22,000 years ago was a Garden of Eden, until they destroyed it. They destroyed everything. So we're going to go back to an earth that's a Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm. And then the different beings that will come back here are different, and there will be 4 kings that will resurface on this planet and divide in different 4 continents of how they divide it in a different way. I think humans, in the way, they need to get out of the fact that being in this body is a limitation. And when you ascend up, you're not limited in any way. So percentage of me doesn't like being here, and I don't access information here. I like to access it up there, because I'd rather be up there. So it's just stuff that we're not going to need. And why give something with the name solar flash power it doesn't have over you? It's just a different element that we're going into for everything on this earth. So that's all I have to say about it.
That's all you have to say? I thought you were gonna have a lot more than that.
No, because I think that's basically it. I mean, it's
Mm.
already at these levels and about the percentage of it and what we have to remove from the ground and get that out of the way. We have to pick everything out,
Mhm.
to get it in that stage. We
Yeah.
got to get rid of everything. And then that solar flash will be that last thing. I don't call it a solar flash. I'm more of an element burst that's coming in. And once that's there, there will be a calmness, a fog that comes in and calms everything down, in a passionate way.
Well, I will say the thing that you talked about those people that are like organic, but it's like the lights are on and nobody's home. I had a chat with the boss one day about what they call non-player characters. So, and I was like, what percent of the people are non-player characters? Well, I found out 37% or 39, I think it was like 39% of the people just in my state that I live in are non-player characters.
Mhm.
That's just in my state. There's other states that it isn't as high. But in my state, 39% or something like that were non-player characters. They're basically these like empty shells. There's no soul there. There's consciousness that's running the body. They're run by a consciousness, but the light's on
AI.
and nobody's home. Yeah, they're like AI. They look like humans and they're, maybe they're shuffling around on the street as a homeless person. Maybe they're an attorney. Maybe they're, they're going through the motions and they're doing stuff, but they're all part of the matrix. They're all part of the matrix. And I was told that 15% of the whole world population are basically NPCs, that they don't have a soul. They have no soul at all. And those were going to be part of the beings that leave here during the flash, those soulless ones. They're not going to be sticking around. So, but then there's also this concept of walk-ins. Okay, so now people have been talking about walk-ins for the last 3 years. I personally only know 2 or 3 people who claim to be walk-ins. Whether they are or not, I'm not 100% sure, but they claim that they're walk-ins. Other than that, I don't really know much about this walk-in thing. Do any of you know about the walk-ins? Do any of you know about that? Like, do you know people who are walk-ins or that are going to be a walk-in? Victoria?
Okay, I want to say something really quick on the previous conversation about the number of beings that
Yeah.
are on this planet that are non-human. So I got a message in February of 2020 from Lord Ezekiel. When he first came in, I was like, "You mean the guy from the Bible?" So he came in and he said he was here with his
His
ship.
wheel, yeah.
Yeah, so his wheel is actually a spaceship. It's massive and it has a holodeck on. So he came in February 18th, 2020, and has been consistent. He was present with me again a couple of days ago. Since that time, they have been cleaning up what inner Earth. So a lot of the beings on the planet that are, a third of the beings on the planet actually live underground. There are the shapeshifters, as for lack of a better word, the shadow people and the shapeshifters that live on the surface. But for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, they've been cleaning up underground. So a lot of as Jenny and I think Gail were saying, and Sandra too, were saying that the cleanup actually started a couple of years ago. So a lot of we're expecting, all these people to suddenly die, right? Because of what's happening. A lot of them have already been taken off
They're
planet.
gone. Yeah.
They're already gone. What's left is what my team calls the surface cleanup. So that's where we are now. Now,
Wow.
regarding the walk-ins, I do know people who are walk-ins. Sometimes I get referred to as being a walk-in. I prefer the term merge down, which is where my higher self had to merge down into my physical vessel. It is part of what's called a walk-in, as part of that walk-in umbrella.
Mhm.
but where my higher self has now merged into my physical vessel and my personality self. Her name was Margaret. I've given her the job of Mommy Margaret. She loves being Mommy Margaret. Victoria now has completely taken over this body.
Mhm.
It didn't happen overnight. It started in 2012 and that process was complete in 2018. And so, yes, as far as walk-ins, I do know other people who are walk-ins. I personally know, I'm part of a group that's called the Wish Alliance, walk-ins, indigos, star seeds, and hybrids. And so pretty much everyone who's a part of that either is a walk-in or what we would consider to be a traditional human,
Mhm.
either or they consult with them. So there is that Wish Alliance for people that are curious about that. So the walk-ins there are multiple types of walk-ins. Some of the most recent research has shown that a lot of the people who have PTSD actually don't have PTSD and have a walk-in experience. And
Oh.
the the new soul is having
Wow.
to transition into the physical vessel, and the personality self is still there. The ego, the memories and everything are still there. But and sometimes even the memories aren't. So a lot of times walk-ins will come in and they have zero memory of what happened before their walk-in experience. They don't
Mhm.
remember anything from before age 15 or whatever it is, because
Mhm.
they had an accident, they go in the hospital, and another soul comes in and they have no memory at all of anything that happened before that. So that's kind of like amnesia, right? Where people have an amnesia experience. They don't remember anything. It was because they had a soul transference. And the
Mhm.
soul didn't experience what the personality self experienced. So there's of course no memory. So they're discovering that more and more and more of PTSD experiences, amnesia experiences are actually walk-in experiences.
Wow.
And so we're starting to, my understanding is that now we're going to start seeing more and more of those as as newer souls transition out, because their learning experience on the planet is complete. And higher evolved souls will then come back into that physical form so that we can create new earth reality with advanced souls who have, so a lot of ascended masters are here now. A lot of angels have now incarnated into human form.
Mhm.
There's a whole army of angels now incarnate.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And doing
And
readings
also,
for a lot of them.
yeah, and so the guidance I got also, for example, I had a communication with the Palladians about a year ago, and they were saying that they would start incarnating in human form. And I asked them, I was like, well, what happened? What happens to your body? And they said, well, basically, we bilocate. We put our bodies on in a refrigerator, so to speak. They come in, have the human experience, and then when they're done with the human experience, they go back into their Palladian body, because their bodies are immortal, right?
Mhm.
And so um it may appear a lot of the people, the people that we love that aren't enlightened yet, their younger souls may transition out and an older soul will transition in. We will still have our loved ones. They will just have a different incarnation within their physical form. So I think
Mhm.
it's important for people to understand that too. And it's like, well, what happens to my whatever person? Well, if they suddenly have a complete personality change, it's more than likely because they had a walk-in experience. And it's really important we don't hold our breath hoping that that's what happens. Like, oh, I
Right.
can't wait for my husband to become a walk-in. Well, that's again putting your life on hold for something that may not ever happen.
Mhm.
And be in the present moment now and understand that there are a lot of us who are transitioning spiritually in a different way. So my walk-in experience is one way, where our higher selves now merge into this physical being, and then the physical being is now ascending. So my body is very different from what it was 10 years ago. And one of the things I've discovered over the last couple of months is my body is perfectly happy not eating food at all. So
Mhm.
I'm actually happier on a liquid diet or on just basic nutrients. And when I do eat human food, my body lets me know I'm tired. I have body issues if I eat low vibration food.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for people to understand that these walk-ins are happening all the time.
Mhm.
And NDEs, a lot of NDEs are walk-in experiences.
Mhm.
NDE is near-death experiencers. That's why now you're starting to see a lot of near-death experiencers are starting to come out of the closet and talk about their experiences,
Mhm.
because this is going to start becoming more mainstream and more commonplace. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that does. Sandra.
So I look at all this is fragments of your soul merging in with yourself, because we've had so many different lifetimes and experiences, etc. And so, for many years I've asked for, all the fragments of me to come in to help me to complete my missions, etc. in this lifetime. And of course, I get these visions sometimes as a fragment of me going, no, 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 you come here. I'm not coming there. Like there's this whole fragments of myself going, no, 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 I'm not coming in there. You come here. But so I see, I can feel when I'm getting these kinds of merging, and some people will equate them to upgrades or up leveling or so on. I can feel when it's kind of happening with what's going on with me. I can feel I become a little bit different for a little bit, and quieter, and I'm allowing things to just sort of acclimate, and I can tell things are different. And the more and more that it happens, I too get to the point where I'm like, I'm just so happy. I love myself. I don't really care for food or some of these other things that my 3D or self would maybe have indulged in before. Um, and as far as walk-ins go, I've asked Spirit to try to explain that to me, and I've gotten messages like this. We all come in with a different resonance and a different thing that we're supposed to be doing, whether it's in a clan, a group, whatever, council, whatever it is. And when one person can't fulfill that resonance, then they have some kind of an agreement with something of a guide system or a fragment of themselves or someone else in that circle that will come in and assist. And it may be that your whole self has to be removed in order for this one to come in, or it's an integration, almost like another power pack joining, like you're just not charged up enough and you can't fulfill, but if you don't have the option of exiting, you just
Mhm.
don't, because it's going to change the dynamics, the equilibrium of the universe and the mission that we're on now. So
Mhm.
possibly it's sort of a power pack to charge that person by coming in. It's sort of like when girlfriends have to get together and they help each other. One's having an
Mhm.
issue and they help
Mhm.
lift each other up. So I look at it that way.
Mhm.
So I know that there's some people that claim they're a walk-in. They have absolutely no memory of what they are before, and now they're channeling this and that, and everyone's looking for information outside of themselves. So they fall hook, line, and sinker that that's exactly what it is. So anyway, that's just what my guides have shared. But if we're really paying attention to our spiritual growth, we're asking to be the best that we can be. And so when we are uplifting ourselves, another little portion of us can come in. It can't be bam, 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 or we would implode. We would just implode. It's too much. It's sort of like building up to what we want to call this solar flash. We each every day need to take in the energy that we need to take in to enlighten our bodies, align ourselves so we can be the best we can be, no matter what event's coming, no matter what event is coming. That's
Mhm.
what I have to say.
I
That's
think some,
awesome.
oh, go ahead.
Go. I was just saying that's awesome. I like what she was saying with the fractals, and because I think that is an issue. Definitely,
I do
it's
too.
definitely an issue. And thank you for explaining that, because I wouldn't have thought. I mean, I know about that, but I just wasn't thinking about that at all. So thank you for putting that in there. I really appreciate that, because that is good info. Really good info. So I really love it. Thank you. Gail, go ahead. What did you
Oh,
want to say about all
Most
that?
definitely. I couldn't agree more. And I was just going to bring up the fact that right now, we begin the now and being aware of what's going on. I am aware of people in this area, for example, who are in their 70s and they have raised the rent for these people, like $700 or some
Oh my God.
absolutely outrageous amount.
Wow.
And they're losing their homes. And part of it is because of Airbnb being here,
Uh-huh.
and which I think is an evil, money oriented,
Mm-hmm.
uncaring organization,
Mm-hmm.
that is resulting in a whole lot of homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that bothers me is that people, because of the way we were raised and the mindset that we're set on, it's like every man for himself. I got mine, you get yours kind of attitude that so many people have. And now is a time when these people are really reaching out and really need other people to help them. And, we got people going, oh, I stand for Ukraine. Why don't you stand for your neighbor?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
why don't you, if we're supposed to be at least 51% service to others,
Mhm.
what are you doing? Everybody needs to ask themselves is, what are you doing to help others?
Mhm.
And sometimes it really, the littlest thing that you can do could mean so much to somebody.
Yep.
Just having, a listening ear, just to maybe having a suggestion of something that they might do. For example, I have a friend here who has been looking for a place to live for almost a year now, been back and forth, coming back, still looking. And the rentals here, you can see a rental for anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 a month.
Oh
A
my
month.
God. That's insane. That's
It
insane.
is. It's absolutely
Nobody has that
insane.
kind of money unless
No,
you're uber wealthy.
And if they did, why would you rent a place? Why not just buy it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And this is the result of Airbnb being here. And
Mhm.
it's making a lot of people homeless. And, this is where, some action in your own community may be necessary to really, truly help others.
Mhm.
I just thought I'd bring that up because I was just talking to someone earlier today about that very thing. And
Wow.
she was telling me the story about someone, he was a light worker, had to do with oxygen therapy. I can't remember the name right now off the top of my head, but that's who they had their rent raised. They had lived here like 10 years or something like that. And all of a sudden the rent goes up, by 700. How many
Yeah.
people at that age have the wherewithal to be able to hustle, to be able to get to a situation where they're going to be okay? I don't know. I mean, I hate to bring up
Wow.
negative things, but there's a lot
Yeah.
happening now in life for people as being extremely difficult. And I have to ask you,
Yes.
what are you doing to help?
Yeah. What is everybody doing to help their brother, their neighbor, their
Exactly.
neighborhood, like my husband had volunteered to be on the neighborhood association board because he wanted to be able to help the neighbors, to make things better around here. That was his goal. Wasn't because he, wants to be like some controlling person or something like that. In fact, I've never ever seen him take a leadership position. We've been together 36 years and he had never done anything like this before, but he just wanted to be able to be of service in the neighborhood because he's mostly retired now. He just works, a few days a week, and he wanted to be able to be of service to the neighbors. And so he joined the neighborhood association board so that he could do that. So people need to start asking themselves, instead of saying, I stand with this country and I stand with that country, what about standing with your own neighborhood? What about find out
Exactly.
if the little grandma that lives 2 doors down from you has food to eat? Check in on
Exactly.
her, make sure she's okay. If you haven't seen people come out of their house in several days, go and check on them, make sure that they're not in their debt or something because they got gassed out by radon or something. I mean, it's just upsetting to me how society has degraded itself so much that people will literally just step over a person laying on the sidewalk, passed out or dead or something. They'll
Yes.
just step over you and go on. Or
Exactly.
I've seen instances
Exactly.
where a whole group of people will witness a woman getting raped right in front of them and nobody will do anything.
Nobody
about it.
does anything. Yeah.
No, it's disgusting. And our society has degraded. That is why this flash, whatever, what the change, there needs to be a huge shift on this earth, because we need to get rid of all of the service to self people. And then we need to heal all of the non-service to all the nice people who have been brainwashed, who have been, how do I want to say, schooled by the school, because the whole school system is cabal run. They've been basically taught since they were little to not give a flying, you know what, about their neighbor.
Others,
You know,
yeah.
they've been brainwashed to be that way.
I got mine, you get yours.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that 5D, and I talked about this in my book, Ascension 101, the biggest part of 5D is unity consciousness. What does unity consciousness really mean? That means I actually give a hoot about my neighbors. It means I want to know, how's my, you know, I'll go next door and ask Barb, my neighbor, you know, who her husband passed away at the beginning of COVID, but not from COVID. He had a heart attack. You know, I'll go over there and I'll say, how are you doing? How are you? She's all by herself. She's, you know, grandma age, you know, she's in her 50s, 60s, whatever. And she's all alone there in her house. I will go and knock on the door and say, hi, how are you doing? Because I'm concerned about her. I care about people. I care about all of my brothers and sisters on this planet. But look at the percentage of people who don't give a freaking damn about their other brothers and sisters on this planet. They don't care about the fact that there's homeless dogs and cats running around in the streets. They don't care about, you know, people who are the guy that lives 3 doors down who's beating the hell out of his wife and she's all, you know, bloody. They just don't care. There's all of these awful things that happen. And that's why kids get snatched. If you can think, if you sit there and you go, why is it that 9 million children are trafficked every year? Well, I'll tell you why, because society doesn't give a flying F
Yeah.
about each
Yeah.
other. Because if society really, really cared about each other, if human beings actually loved one another the way God loves us, the way Christ loves us, if we actually wanted to know where our brother is, where is my, you know, what's going on? Why has my neighbor been missing for 5 weeks? Whatever. You need to ask questions. You need to actually give a damn and care about one another. And that is part of unity consciousness. We are all connected to one another. We need to all take care of each other. We need to lift each other up. We need to support each other. We need to help each other. Think about this. If there was like a big cataclysm that happened where the earth was just, you know, wiped really bad, people would need to come together and bring all their resources together to help one another, or nobody would survive. Nobody. If everybody was, oh, it's just me for me, you know, everybody's all out for themselves, society would not make it. Society would not make it. The only way society is going to survive into the future is people need to start giving a damn about each other. They need to start caring. They need to start loving each other. They need to start worrying about what's going on in my neighborhood, you know, who's doing what, you know, they need to pay attention to what is happening around you. And I'll give you a really good example of this. People are so unconscious, so zombified and in a matrix zombie state that they go into my grocery store here and there'll be a family, there'll be like a mom and her 3 kids, and they will spread themselves out across the entire aisle and they will block everyone from walking down the aisle. And I'll come up behind them with my card and I'll stand there and I'll wait before I say anything. And they don't even notice me. It's like they're in a zombie zone. And it's like, I'll stand there 15 minutes and they still won't notice that somebody's trying to cross down the aisle. So I will usually go, ahem, and some of these people are in such a zombie state that I can go ahem, like 3 times and they still won't figure it out. That is how screwed up our planet is right now. There is such a huge percent of these people, and those are the kind of people that don't give a flying F about their neighbor. Their neighbor could have their rotted corpse dead in their house for 5 years, and nobody came and went from that house for 5 years, and they won't even wonder why. They won't even care. you know, and that is not unity consciousness. That's all each man to himself,
Me,
which
me,
is what the
me.
cabal teaches. It's narcissism at its finest.
Mhm.
And that is the cabal education system, the cabal mind control system, the MSM. It's all of it. It's all this whole thing of teaching humans to be these completely narcissistic people who have to only worry about their own survival, their own this, their own that, their own, you know, I have an issue with family members pulling this crap. I have family members who yell at me because I care about what's going on here and what's going on. And then they yell at me and go, oh, you should only be caring about what's going on with
Your
yourself. And it's like,
family or so.
no, that's not, no, I care about what's going on in the world. I care about what's happening to so-and-so because I care about everything and everyone, because I'm the opposite of that, you know, but the society has degraded to the point where a huge percent are the people who will step over your dead body that falls over on the road, and they won't even try to help you.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it's really disgusting. And that is why I'm excited. I'm excited for what is coming, and I can't wait for it to come. In fact, if it came right this moment, I'd be like, woo, you know, because I am sick and tired of working, or not working, but living surrounded by these apocalyptic, mind-controlled, zombified, matrix ignoramuses who have no consciousness whatsoever. I have no tolerance for them anymore. I used to be really patient with everyone, just everyone. And now if I look at somebody and I can see that they have no consciousness, I have no more patience for them. If they have no consciousness, it's like, get out of here, little flea. I can't tolerate you anymore. You know, I want to get together with people who have consciousness, people who actually care about me. Like, you know, I was sick for 2 weeks with that thing, and I had several of my friends who were literally checking in on me every single day. Jenny is one of them. Thank you, Jenny, by the way. You really helped me get through, making it through. And Sandra checked on me too. But, you know, the fact of the matter is everybody, I had all these people that checked in on me, like on a daily. Jenny was checking in on me. How are you doing today? How are you doing? She was worried about me. She was genuinely concerned about me. She actually cared about me. Why? Because she has a consciousness, you know, and that is what you do when you have a friend and your friend has a plague that was weaponized to kill as many people as possible. And you don't know if you're going to ever see them again. You don't know. I mean, my brother left the planet because of that plague. All right. So 5D, to me, this whole ascension, the best part of this ascension that gets me the most excited and titillated and like, wow, is the fact that no more of this bullshit, narcissistic, evil, mind-controlled, zombified crap will exist in the future, in my future, ever again. And that makes me so freaking happy that I'm not going to have to live in a place where my neighbors don't care if I don't walk out the door for 5 years and they don't come to check on me. I don't want to be in that kind of world anymore. I'm done with it. My patience for that kind of world is gone a long time ago. And I am so happy that we are going to shift into this thing where we all care about each other. We unify and we see each other as an extension of ourselves. We are all brothers and sisters. And that is what I'm looking forward to. Sorry, I went on my high horse there.
On that note, I actually have to run.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Yeah, Kimberly, I gotta go too.
You know what? I
Oh,
did
well.
too. I think we covered quite a bit. I still have more stuff we can cover, but we can do it in the next, you know, women's group. And hopefully Akura from Germany, Sandra Akura, can join us next time. But I have definitely way more topics to cover about this, like, you know, weather stuff and multiple universes and multiple timelines. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can talk about. So, so if you all are game, let's do this again, maybe in a couple weeks or so. and we'll see what everybody's schedules are, 2 or 3 weeks. And thank everybody for watching. I will put all these ladies, everybody, including even though Sandra wasn't able to make it, the other Sandra in Germany, I'll put her contact, everybody's contact info from our group will be on the video in the description. So everybody's websites, where you can find them, Gail of Gaia's channel, you know, everybody's information will be on there, and everybody has a YouTube channel. Jenny Lee has a channel, Victoria has a channel, Gail has a channel, and Sandra has a channel. Everyone has a channel, and Salini has I think a channel, but I think she's on BitChute, or I think she got closed down off of YouTube, didn't she? I don't know. She's been booted off YouTube a bunch of times. So, but everybody has websites. I will list all of those. Is there any last minute words of wisdom that you want to give everybody before we sign off?
Yeah, I gotta run. I just, yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Victoria.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
Victoria.
everyone. Bye,
Bye,
Sandra.
everyone.
Bye,
Thanks for
everyone.
coming and joining me. Take it easy.
Kimberly.